everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now in our last build, making an EVA foam sonic screwdriver part 1, we knocked out most of the build. We got most of the body put together and you saw how easy it was. Like we said, the hardest part was just lining everything up so it wasn't out of balance. Sounds simple, but it's kind of not when you have circles, because if you're even a hair off, when you start to spin it, it kind of like looks uneven. But so far so good. And now tonight we're going to knock out the rest of this build. So in this episode, making an EVA foam sonic screwdriver part 2, we're gonna wrap it up and we're gonna move into sealing it with Plastidip and painting it. Pretty simple paint job, but a little bit of a pain in the butt masking it off. But not hard. So that's it. If you're ready to hit it, let's make something. Okay, now we're going to begin cementing these down, but what we need to do first is we need to make all of our marks. And right there. Now we know that's where we need to cement. So let's flip all these over. All right, there we go. Those are all the spots we need to cement. Let's get some foam blocks ready. Okay, now before we stick those down, we're gonna get a new blade in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a cool detail on these little raised pieces right here. We're gonna come in with some painter's tape. Tape the front end down. Back end down. And the reason we're doing that is we don't want it to move. We're going to come in and we are going to make slight little cuts in the foam. Just like that. Scoring the top. We're not going very deep. We're just breaking the skin. And then we're going to hit this with the heat gun. And all these cuts are going to open up and it's going to be a real nice textured grid. Then we're going to take our tape off. Going to get our heat gun going. Look at that. That is radical. And we've got all 4 done. Now we can start sticking them down. And we're going to put that right like that. All right, there we go. Now we're just going to keep going. Look at that cool texture right there. Man, is that crazy. Wow, it's looking good. That's pretty jamming. Holy smokes. And super easy. Man, you saw how easy this stuff was. This was totally easy. Not bad. All right, now we've got these pieces that are going to go on the end, and obviously it doesn't have to be this thick. But we're going to do 4 of these. So the reason we did it on here is we'll do 1 cut on the scroll saw. Then we'll turn it over sideways and we'll slice the 4 off through the bandsaw. That way we only do this intricate cut 1 time. All right, so we're going to move over to the scroll saw and we're going to crank this thing out. All right, there we go. We did the cut 1 time out of a super thick piece of foam. And now we'll roll it over and there's our lines and we'll just feed this through the bandsaw and we'll have 4 of these. Let's do it. All right, there we go. Check that out. See how efficient that was? We cut the intricate pattern 1 time on a super thick piece of foam. Then we sent it through like we were knocking out slices of salami. Look at that. 4 perfect pieces, just like that. All right, now we're going to heat seal these, and it's going to burn off all the little fuzzies around the edges. We have 4 of these cut out and sealed, looking really good. All right, now we're going to cut out our little hinges out of our 3mm, and we have to do 8 of these. So rather than cut it out 8 times, we're going to cut it out 4 times. We're just going to stack up 2 pieces of foam, and we're going to cut it that way. Perfect. All right, there's 4, and we've got 4 here on the bottom. There you go, 8 of them. We did the cut 4 times, and we got 8 pieces. Nice. All right, we're gonna come in, we're gonna put a little bit of super glue down, just like that. Little hinge piece, we're gonna get it wet, and we're gonna come over here to this straight line at the bottom. Just like that. And we're going to line it up with the bottom of our hinge right down here like this. And there you go. All right, there we go. There's all 4 of them with their hinges on them. Now it's simple. We're just going to come in and we're going to stick them each in here, just like that. And we're going to push it down real hard because we want to get good contact. Yeah. Get it. Crazy, man. Dig that. Okay, here we go. This thick piece right here, we're going to round the edges off because we're going to try to make this thing look round. All right, there we go. Nice and rounded off. Let's seal it. Beautiful. Look at that thing, man. Crazy. All right, let's round off this back edge. All right, let's give this whole thing a once over with the heat gun to seal it. All right, we got one detail left, and that's putting the ball on the end. All right, now let's see if we can make a perfect sphere. A perfect circle out of this right here. So we've got our dimension. We're going to cut this square out. Then we're going to try to Dremel the heck out of it and make it a perfect circle. So let's knock this out. All right, there we go. A perfect cube. Can we do it? Can we make it round? Good grief. That's almost a perfect circle. Wow. All right, let's heat it up, see what we get. Not terrible. And that's gonna go right in there. You know what? I think we can live with that. But we want to shave off one side of this so it sits flat. Well, that's not a perfect circle, but it's awful darn close. Not bad. Wow, look at that thing, man. That is crazy. I'm liking that. All right, look at that, not bad. Pretty cool. Things looking sweet. And you can tell when you spray a bunch of it with the Plastidip, if you're outside and the breeze is going, it doesn't take long for it to dry up enough to where you can switch hands and then get the other side. Cool, man, look at that. All right, we're out at the spray stand. We're going to spray part of this with our flat antique nickel. And like we always talk about, even if you're outside in a well-ventilated area, do not spray without your respirator. All right, there we go. There's our matte finish antique nickel, which looks pretty good. And we needed to get inside all these crevices up here around the top, underneath these bands, and all up and down inside these little areas. So we sprayed it. And now what we're going to do after it dries is we're going to come in and we're going to mask off. And we're going to come in with this super metallic, like a copper. And we're going to come in and we're going to mask off some areas and hit a bunch of it with copper. And then there'll be very little actual hand painting in here when we're done. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to tape off to spray our awesome super shiny copper paint on parts of this. So we're going to come in with our tape and we're going to just tape off some areas. A lot of it's pretty simple. Some of it we're going to have to get in and kind of do a little wiggling in there, but we can easily come in, line up our edges. Really easy stuff. All right, now we've got our white tape, which is flexible tape. It's nice to have a flexible roll handy so you can bend it as you're going around curves. Painter's tape doesn't really curve. Alright, now we're going to be getting into this area down in here, so we're going to have to get kind of careful here. That's it. Now we're just going to take our time. We're going to mask around this pole here, and then we're going to mask around these four, and then we'll cover the end. Alright, there we go. We took our time. We wrapped around these edges here because we're going to be painting here, this dowel, and all of this material in here. So what we had to do was we had to come in very carefully and do the edges, the ends, the edges, and then all around this area. So we're going to be spraying in here with our awesome copper shiny spray paint. So let's head out to the spray stand and coat it. All right, super nice. Super nice. All right, now comes the fun part. Taking the tape off. Putting it on is kind of a pain in the butt. Taking it off's cool, because then you get to see what you got. Ooh, nice. Now we're just gonna keep going, peeling it all off. All right, there it is. Looking good, man. Check that thing out. Wow, look at that. That's pretty nice. Got a couple little smudges on there. Got a little one right there. And we got a couple tiny little hits of our copper there we're gonna have to touch up, but that's easy. All right, nice. Now we're gonna come in with our silver. We're gonna touch up these areas real quick. Okay, now we're going to come in with our satin black. All right, see that? We don't need to tape off. All right, there we go. Perfect. Perfect, look at that. That's nice. All right, now we're going to come in with our white. All right, there we go. We've got one layer down, and we're gonna let that dry, and we're just gonna start adding multiple layers to fill it into a nice solid white. Okay, we're gonna come in with our green. Now we're letting our first coat of white dry. So now we're gonna come in and put a layer of green down. We're probably gonna need a couple layers here. All right, that's all of our color down. Now we're just gonna let the white and the green kind of set up, and then we're gonna do multiple coats on both till it's a nice flat color. All right, now you've seen us do this before. For the second coat, we're gonna go in the opposite direction. All right, there we go. Look at the difference around this front stripe right here. Look at that, much more solid than over here. All right, there we go, nice. That's our second coat. Really filled in now. Probably one more coat and we'll be solid. All right, now we're gonna come over and we're gonna hit this green one. All right, there we go. Second coat of the green. Looking good. Probably one more coat on the white and we're all done. All right, there we go. Multiple coats of our green and our white on there. We sprayed our silver, then we masked off and we sprayed our copper color. And then we came in by hand and did the black and the white parts of the handle and the green end. And that was it. Really easy stuff. That was not hard at all. All right, and with that last painting detail, that brings our sonic screwdriver build to a close. Nice, turned out great. Paint job went down great. The rest of the build went down great. You saw how we did this whole end section with all these pieces and the claws at the end. Really cool. Looks a little bit complicated, but it's not. This was super easy to build. And you saw that cool detail we did with the X-Acto knife. I love that technique where we make the cuts and then we heat it up to open up the cuts. And the painting. You saw how, like we talked about earlier, man, it's a drag masking everything off. But that drag is replaced by the stone groove that it is when you peel the tape off and it reveals the final result, which is totally cool. Looks kind of clunky, and then when you peel the tape off and everything is exactly as it's supposed to be, it's a great moment. And the rest of it was a really easy paint job too. We brushed the white, brushed the black, brushed the green. And you saw how we started the whole thing off with just a light spray to get the matte silver down first. That was it. Super easy, fun build. Like we said, a lot bigger than it's supposed to be, but whatever. All right, that's it. That concludes making an EVA foam sonic screwdriver part 2. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.